I sort of wanted to pick up from all the amazing brands that have been talking today, and I've talked to some of you today and had some really interesting conversations. I thought it'd be quite interesting to talk about how we've been working with some amazing brands to bring some amazing things to our product, and where that's going in the future. So, just to start off, Bromford Housing are currently going through the largest Microsoft Dynamics integration in the country at the moment. We're working with them with CRM integrations to help bring that 360 view to their customers. We've been working with Ocado and Live Chat. You've heard from them today and what the amazing work they're doing in that live chat area. We've also been working with Robert Walters, and I'll be talking about this again just in a couple of seconds, so I'll leave that there. Pendragon PLC, which is an amazing company, and they've been working with us to find how they can find that perfect balance between sort of that automation side of our platform and actually meeting customers' needs. IBM Watson and ALSA, which is another slide I'm going to be bringing up in a second, so I won't touch on that too much here, but also the National Police Force incentive, which is to get that sort of ability to report a 999 call through social media. And one of the problems they've got is that they were unable to take that then to court and make that an admissible piece of evidence, because social media is forever changing. People can change the comments on social media, and that then meant they would have to go back through the social channels to pick up those conversations and take them to court. And we're developing a piece of work through some of the technology in blockchain to help them export that and then use it in court. So, just talking quickly, as I said, Ocado, we've been working with them to create live chat, and they've been fantastic in working with us and creating an amazing partnership to build an amazing product and allow them to have those conversations across both social media and live chat through the same platform. Moving on, I also talked about Robert Walters, who approached us with a big problem. They've got 4,100 members of staff. They have an international team that works across 28 different countries. With reach forever decreasing, one of their opportunities they saw was advertising within the social space, and to push that further and get some of their posts that weren't necessarily achieving what they wanted to out there. So we've been building a whole new marketing module which will be coming in January, and this brings a lot of our key features in the marketing area of our product together, along with allowing us our customers to push that content further using advertising. This we see as a really big part of the future, and we see that this is going to be a big play for some of our brands that are using our product. But not only that, we are also allowing you to identify that strong content within the platform and then push that as choice over others. So alongside that, with all the people that are using it across those 28 different countries, they're able to manage permissions and who can actually do that and spend their budget, rather than everyone going off on one and having a good time with their budget. So that's been a really interesting piece of work that we've been doing. But looking a little bit further into the future and the customer service, I sort of thought I'd maybe touch on sort of AI. Everyone's talking about it, and everyone's thinking about it in some fashion. Some companies it doesn't sit so appropriately with. For example, Gartner has come out with a report saying that by 2020, they expect 20% of enterprises to be using this. Now, another report similar said that 80% of enterprises are currently investing in artificial intelligence, but are citing massive problems in actually getting it to a product that they can use or into the market. So, we see these as kind of very real problems, alongside things such as brands not actually having real trust within artificial intelligence. Can they actually have a bot talking to a customer now? Is this really appropriate? We've seen Microsoft with Tay, who I think became racist through the lovely people who spoke to it. So we've sort of been looking at that and working out how we can integrate that into the customer service sort of world, and how we make that meet the right sort of tone, because we don't want to become that sort of completely bot-based product. So we've sort of picked out three areas that I thought I'd talk to you today. So one is the sort of AI tasks, which is taking away some of those repetitive tasks from the customer service agents, allowing them to focus on the real conversations they need to be having. Conversational AI, which is picking up the conversations that you don't need to pick up as a sort of customer service agent. And then finally, the analytical side, which is drawing more information from the data to allow you to better understand your audiences and how to approach them on certain aspects. So just talking through some of these, one of the things we're already doing is working with, we've partnered with IBM Watson to solve a task for Group ALSA. They are a Spanish travel company. They've got huge amounts of activity going on out there, but they have a huge amount of frequently asked questions coming through into their social channels. I imagine very similar to Virgin Trains. And for this, they wanted to solve that and allow them to actually deal with the customer service queries that they needed to get involved with. So they've come to us. We've partnered with IBM Watson, who have been used to help understand the conversation that's going on there, and then essentially answer the questions for them where they can. Now, the important bit here is that we've allowed IBM Watson to hand off the conversation to Orlo as soon as they cannot understand or feel that the customer is becoming at all frustrated with the bot and can't get the answer they want. We hand it off to Orlo, who then raises it to an agent and allows them to finish the conversation off properly or answer the question that the IBM Watson can't. Now, that has allowed them to have a lot more confidence and see a massive ROI within the sort of number of frequently asked questions that they're repetitively answering within the customer service center, and then pick up the ones that they actually really need to get on top of and get that much better human connection. So, that's been a fantastic piece of work there. Just looking forwards, one of the things we see, and this isn't necessarily AI, but we see a lot of companies wanting to go into that space, but don't have the huge amounts of data that's needed to train artificial intelligence. We don't have the people and the resources, and maybe even the understanding of how that's going to work and what's actually capable. And we see that a big part of this is maybe actually presenting a sort of a grey area that sits in between. So we kind of called this decision tree bots, call it what you like, code, whatever. But essentially this is presenting the user with the option to go through an IVR-based phone system, which I know sounds horrible, but in the social media world, this is very easy to quickly click through a set of options to find the answer you want in a set of FAQs. So in this scenario here, I've pitched a concept of an airline, and also there's always that option to get out of that scenario. You can always still chat to an agent, but if the customer's looking for that quick answer that's regularly, for example, they see how much luggage can I take on, they don't want to go and speak to an agent, they don't want to wait in a queue, they just want a quick answer. So giving this option to them is really, really nice and really speedy, but it also means they're not having to bash away at the keyboard and make a bot understand what they really, really want. So we see this being a great advantage. The other advantage here is that this can be set up by anyone in any organization. This can be also changed instantly based on the environment that's happened. If there's been a massive rail incident, you guys could create a bot instantly that could solve some of those quick queries that are coming through and allow you to continue to pick up the communication that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, and again, have that sort of conversation that you want. So again, that's, we're trying to reduce the cost within the customer service center, allow you to handle those large exceptional sort of peaks of activity that go on using that. So moving away from the conversational stuff, we're also investing heavily in how we can take some of the activity away from agents that they're having to do day in and day out to maintain the conversations and the data behind it. So, in Orlo, one of the things that we allow you to do is tag every message with a topic. So this can later be used to analyze that data. So it can be customer service queries, it can be, whatever it might be, very important guest, and all that sort of stuff. So what we're able to do is actually look back through those messages that you've already tagged as you're a customer, and then start to move that forwards using our artificial intelligence to then say, we suggest that you're probably going to tag this with one of these tags. Now, presenting only 3 options rather than presenting a list that you've created, that's maybe 20, 30, we've realized that we can make massive savings. I know it seems like only seconds, but actually across a whole day, this can be quite a lot. Also, we've looked at looking all the way back through those messages and seeing those common replies to the common questions that you're getting. So even though that you're not maybe got a bot in front of it, we can actually then start to suggest, like you see now within Gmail, with the auto suggest as you type, we can actually suggest options for you to have in there from previously based questions that you've answered in the past. And we've got a whole other bunch of areas in that, but I thought I'd pick a few. We've done a little bit of a sort of a time experiment there, and we reckon that over 500 messages, if we were able to apply just those two things, we'd save 8 hours in a day. So that's quite massive when you think of a customer service center who are dealing with so much. We can actually save that time and have you deal and take more time about the customers that you need to, and again, see the ROI that you're looking for there. So all interesting stuff. And then finally, I wanted to just pick up on the analytical side. This is a huge area that we're investing in. We see that we have so much data within our platform, and we want to be able to give that back to you. And we already do that in so many ways, but artificial intelligence can draw out stuff that maybe you didn't know that was there before. So one thing that we're looking at is how we can detect anomalies within time series data. So that's how many messages you're receiving a day, a week. Now we've seen over social media there's massive cycles of data going on. So every week, on the weekend, you might have a drop in activity, and then Monday it picks up. But a typical algorithm in that world would not work, because it does not understand that, whereas artificial intelligence can actually start to pick out that this was an abnormal activity based on the fact that normally you should be receiving only 100 messages an hour there, but now you're receiving 500. So we can start to bring alerts to you based on key questions, or key terms that you're interested in. And we can also start to look at what's going on within your inbox and alert you to maybe the fact that actually you need to come out of the meeting, there's something going on within your customer service center for the managers. Entity extraction is another interesting one. So entity extraction starts to look at that textual data and draw out from that really interesting key pieces of information, such as location, person's names, and organization names. This currently all sits and resides within that textual data. And as you're answering the question as an agent, it's very relevant and you can see it there. But actually, when you look at a whole cohort of analysis, you can't see that data and understand what's really going on. What locations are people talking about? What people are they talking about, or organizations are they talking about? And when you team that up then with other analytics, we can start to show some really interesting stuff. So finally, the last two, smart word clouds. We've all seen word clouds being used in lots of systems. What are people talking about now? Really, I struggle to believe these are actually interesting or relevant. They're a mismatch of words, all different sizes. Can you actually understand what's being talked about now? And when you see just the word website, quite big, clearly a relevant word that's being talked about now, does that mean that your website's down? Does that mean there's a problem on your website? Does that mean your website's done really well? There's lots of different kind of takes on that. So we're looking at how we can look at not only the word that's relevant to you this moment, but look at how that's trending over the last hour or so, and then put some context to that behind and in front of that word. So if it is that your website is down, you'll be able to see that instantly by looking at that word. And we're using artificial intelligence to start to derive not just the word sign and signed, for example. That's actually the same word. We don't want to show that twice in word cloud. So we're starting to use some sort of intelligent things there to sort of derive the data that you're interested to hear in that moment. Another one is emotion detection, and we've talked about emotion a lot today, so I left that as the final one. But emotion detection, again, when teamed up with a whole bunch of other analytics, such as entity extraction, can give you a massive insight into what's going on with your audience. So in that scenario there, where we have entity extraction that could bring out your location that people are talking about, if you're running a retail store, you could very quickly see how people are talking about certain retail stores and what emotion they have next to that. You could very quickly start to understand how people are feeling about certain tags that you've applied to your messages, and whether it's customer service or anything else, and understand how people are really feeling, and using our platform to do that. So all in all, I just wanted to show you a little bit about sort of where we're going, what we're thinking about the artificial intelligence kind of world. Obviously, it's a very hot topic, and some people might have contradicting views on this. We are trying to meet needs of most brands and organizations without sort of stepping on everyone's toes. But I won't take questions now, because I think it might go on too long, and I think everyone wants to make a break for coffee. So I'm going to be at the back of the room. This is my interest, my passion. I'm really interested to talk to anyone who's keen to ask questions or understand a little bit more what we're doing. So I'll be there. So yeah, come and find me. I look like this.